Hey everybody, we've got some developments, some updates, and maybe a message. But I'm gonna wait for my food to cool. Timing is everything. And without saying too much, I saw a message from Wick that said you can learn how to crash any plane or something like that. And the song he used was Crystallize, which was what I dedicated to the False Twin way back in the day. And I didn't really know how that was going to apply to me, but I was like, okay, well, this is clearly some kind of important. But I think the message that I was supposed to take from that is that people find a way to crash all by themselves, maybe crash out. The person who was causing me problems, essentially, I stepped away and I did my own thing, and I was like, okay, you know what? Even if I don't feel like that's necessarily what's going on here, I'll work on myself. You know, I will take this as a perspective, and I will continue to grow as a person. And I continued doing me. And the other person continued picking fights, trying to stir the pot, cause problems. And they kind of put themselves into a corner. And I don't know what's going to happen with all that. That's not my business. Because since the initial incident, I was like, not my monkey, not my circus. And that's kind of where I've been with it. So, the first part of the message is people will find a way to crash that plane all on their own. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be involved in the process. People, destructive people, have a tendency to self-destruct. All on their own without your help. And sometimes, you know, the Empress, it's a wonder to me sometimes that people don't really see it coming, because I know the average people don't really understand me or my name or anything like that. But people sometimes do, and sometimes a little research goes a long way. It wouldn't take much Googling to figure out what being the Dragonfly Catalyst actually means. What dragonflies symbolize, and what it means to be a catalyst. And all I had to do was be around for this person to lose it. In whatever way they did. In order to be put off balance, in order to get on this track of self-destruction where they climb this hill and then they fall on it. And all I had to do was be there because they didn't like who I was. That I was younger, that I had tattoos. They probably assumed I was liberal, even though I'm pretty apolitical. I think the entire system's a problem and it needs to be burned down to the ground and started over. Butterfly. With a new constitution, and one that gets rid of all the loopholes while keeping all the good parts. But, you know, she never asked me about these things. She made judgments about me. And from those judgments, decided who I was. Because, like we talked about in the last reading, Spirit protects you by hiding you in plain sight. And they create... you know, it's not necessarily just a mirror. Because we've been calling ourselves mirrors for a long time, right? And we are, to a degree. But Spirit protects us with illusions. Whatever somebody wants to believe about us, they'll find a way to corroborate that. Based on their own experience and their own perception. And they will see what they think we are. They will see, and this goes back to the King of Swords too. If that's what he was expecting to see, if that's what he wanted to believe, then that is what he was going to find evidence for. Started glitching, so I'm just going to change the topics. But that happened, and essentially, at this point, people are paddling themselves up shit creek while you mind your business and succeed and get your bag. Focusing on you has never felt better, and sometimes that looks different, but the people that can actually see you for who you are, they might be rare, but they exist, and they're around. Some people will just recognize you, and that's when you have to deal with the wound of being seen. because that is almost as painful as being misperceived. And that's like, they call it the witch wound, right? Because you're scared of being seen, because almost nobody does. And then when they do, that's horrifying. It's terrifying. Should we pivot? But you know, this is all about attracting your soul tribe in. This is about the people being magnetized towards you that do understand you. Your tribe. And you know, somebody at work today, should I say that? Oh, it's such a good line though. Should I say? All right. So this guy's walking by, and he doesn't mean it in a bad way. He knows me. But he looks at the new girl and he goes, "He's a dragonfly. What are you?" And she goes, "I'm a crystal." And like, her name is Crystal, right? And it was just like this awesome moment where everybody's laughing and having a good time at nobody's expense, really. But the people that are on your vibe, it's not going to feel strained. It's not going to feel like an attack. It's not going to feel like a problem. And the people that aren't on your vibration, Spirit usually removes. If the entire place is not on your vibration, then you are removed. If the person is not on your vibration and you are in alignment with the place, then they will be removed. And that's just how it goes, you know? It's just how it is. And I think it's... One time I heard from Ray in a collective reading that it's like you're an open book written in invisible ink. And I thought that was so poetic and beautiful and true, because you are regularly misperceived, or people can't read between the lines or see what you so clearly display. Who I am is in these tattoos. Who I am